Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special first episode of the Greyshot Productions podcast.
Brought to you by both 151 and myself, 117, along with our two special guests for today on our first episode. We have Redman,
Hello.
and we also have Blueleader.
Where the hell am I? How'd I get here?
Yes. So they were kind enough, or forced into, joining us on a podcast. And essentially, if you guys are wondering, yes, we now have a podcast, and for the first episode, we will be going over the top 10 series, movies, and games that we decided that apparently was better than all the stuff you guys, well, liked.
Essentially, it's going to be we're going to be going over these items and we're going to be referencing them with Blue Leader and Redman, who are going to be our devil's advocates. They're going to be the people yelling at us why we are stupid and why we have certain things at number one. But first and foremost, I guess we'll dive right into the topics. We'll go with our movies. So obviously, let's go to our guests right now. So Blue Leader and Redman, what were your favorite movies of the year? And we'll start with you, Blue Leader.
It's okay, I'll pass to Redman on this one.
Favorite movie? I want to say Star Wars. It's tied with Jurassic World.
Those were, I mean,
I really enjoyed those.
from our points of view, they were fantastic films. When my brother and I both actually, I think we both went to see both of the films, around like the first week or so, and it's not surprising that they're the highest grossing films of the year. Uh, they definitely play to their nostalgia very well.
Yeah.
Most likely why we felt for Jurassic Park especially, it my brother and I grew up with Jurassic Park. That was like one of our favorite films when we were kids. And Star Wars, while literally our family engrossed us in it, our room was sadly covered with Star Wars prequel. Like we had a Darth Maul blow up chair. I think it
You
paid
poor thing.
for us. Yeah, I know. For us, it paid more homage to Jurassic Park. For us, that nostalgia felt stronger than the other. Wouldn't you agree, bro?
Yeah, I would say, unfortunately for me, I had no idea why we had Star Wars stuff on it, like on our wall stuff. I was like, ew. But Jurassic Park, I mean, we grew up watching monster movies, probably because of Jurassic Park and stuff. So, yeah, it's like that was probably a bigger nostalgia thing than Star Wars for us, which is probably why it's higher up on our list, honestly, even though Star Wars you could argue is a better movie. Blue Leader?
Uh, did you please tell me you didn't have a poster of Anakin Skywalker of all people on your wall? Or Jar Jar Binks?
God, no, no.
Because that would give me nightmares
It
if
was
I woke up to
we
one of those two staring at me.
if I recall correctly, we had the episode 1 fighters like all over. Like that was the main thing was those fighters,
The
but
yellow
I don't
ones.
recall anything else. Yeah, the yellow ones, and I think there were like TIE fighters as well. It was like
I
it was like
see.
it was a mix, I think. But that was like the two main ones. And then my family was like, "We're gonna put stars above your bed and stuff like that." It's like, great.
We
I
did
can't
have a
sleep because
Darth Maul blow up chair, though I did stab it with scissors.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
So yeah. But
We were like 6 at the time. People, shut up.
but yeah, I guess this gives us a good time to go to. We'll go straight to our movies. So for the movies this year, Star Wars and Jurassic World were definitely on our lists. And again, like I made note, Jurassic World was definitely the thing that stressed us. Or was the reason why it was so high. It's listed number two. But for other films that were nice, like I think this year can be definitely said is the surprises for the films that just came out. There were a lot of films that you knew that were, that you knew, like the Avengers. Everyone knew about the Avengers. But I think I like going at like number 10 for Goosebumps. Like again, we're a big fan of monsters, but that just came out of nowhere, and that was just like, oh, this is good, and wow, this is surprising.
I think the word you're
Yeah,
looking for is random.
no, yeah, I would say actually for that, it actually had a decent heart. I feel like the ending, they kind of, they did it's funny because Ex Machina, they kind of did a Deus Ex Machina moment where it's just like, okay, so this is a thing, really? But I mean, I guess it works. I mean, like, essentially, it goes down to a point where it's like, oh, there's actually going to be this dramatic impact, and they kind of take that away, but they still kind of leave the implication it's still there. Also, they kind of foster an idea of hundreds and hundreds of year old individual dating a teenage person. I'm not even kidding. Um,
That's
I think at
weird.
least she's at least a couple decades old. At least, by the way, we're going into spoilers. This individual's at least a couple decades old, and she's dating a teenager. Which, by the way, for all the things that they hid, I actually thought that was a good like a good spoiler that they kept under wraps. Like, because I had no idea. Like, I thought she was just, oh, she's Stein's daughter. No, turns out she's part of a book.
Yeah, they lead you with the twist because they make you think the reason they're so hidden is because of that, not not the fact that oh yeah, it's it's this. But again, it's the surprises that definitely struck home with us with the films. Like again, Avengers is on our list.
Slappy.
Yeah, it's oh god, yeah. It was still good. Like Ex Machina again, kind of a low budget, but still a type of film that kind of was known about. And the same I could say about Inside Out and Star Wars. Ant-Man, I'd say, would be the next surprise that I don't think anyone expected to be as good as it was.
Just back it up. Just back it up. Just back it up for a moment.
Okay.
Just back it up. Ex Machina, I would say, was a surprise because of the fact, again, it was an indie movie. It's funny enough, the two main leads in that are in Star Wars, except for the female lead. I forget her name. I apologize, but again, everyone that it's so good. It is that movie is so good, just with special effects wise, what they had. But yeah, with Ant-Man, it was so funny, so charismatic, and just had so much heart in it that it was very hard to be like, whoa, this is better than the giant blockbuster Avengers movie that just came out. This is insane. It's Ant-Man. Who knows Ant-Man? Seriously.
Honestly, I think I might have gotten that for. I got a Blu-ray movie for Christmas from my aunt's side of the family, and I I think yeah, I never watched it. I
Yeah,
guess I'll
I
have
just
a
have a
reason to see it
question
now.
about Ex Machina. Is the main actress like the one from Game of Thrones,
Did
Daenerys?
you pick up Greyshot's?
No. Daenerys was in Terminator Genesis, which was a movie
Oh
but
yeah,
my
did
brother
that
and I
movie?
saw.
Did it come out
Uh,
this year? I forgot.
it
It
did.
did.
It's Terminator Genesis, and
And it's
it
not
had a
on your
great
list.
opening. And then it's like, unlike Jurassic World and Star Wars, where it used nostalgia pretty well, that film literally puts nostalgia in there for no reason other than nostalgia. Where instead of building upon it just puts it in there.
Which let me I'm gonna cut in real quick, and just as a note, I guess for honorable mentions, it follows a great horror movie, Fast Seven. Like in Fast Seven and Tom
It's
Cruise,
a
and Mr.
good
Russell Crowe,
film.
amazing. They are good films. They pay homage to their past, and Fast Seven I think does a better job of paying homage to all the previous films, especially with Paul
The
Walker's
fact that
death.
they have, yeah, that. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. They pay homage to it, and they do it so in the probably one of the best ways that an actor actually dies on the set, and they acknowledge that in the film. Like I mean, it is his last movie, and you feel it and you know it, and it works so well for what they have. So I do pay respect. So even I should note, if it's an honorable mention, it's not that it's a massive gap. It's these movies are still solid. And we'd still highly recommend them.
Any movie except for Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, stay away from that.
Let's not talk about
If
that,
you got a
shall we?
Blu-ray from it, either give it to someone you don't like, or that person
burn
doesn't
it.
like you.
Or burn it. Just burn it. It's
But-
like probably cursed with voodoo shit.
The effects of burning it will probably be better than the movie. It will honestly be better than the movie.
Well, speaking of burning and scorching and all that fun stuff, we have on number 4 Mad Max Fury Road, which dear God, it was good. And again, it was a surprise.
Oh, that was a
Everyone
good setup.
knew about it, but it looked good. But for me, as I've never
Wait.
really seen a Mad Max film, I thought it was better. I went in with good expectations, and I came out with blown away expectations.
I could not believe the fact that I thought the trailers were epic, and I'm like, they just showed the whole movie. Like, usually with a movie, they'll show a bunch of stuff away. Jurassic World and Star Wars did a good job keeping stuff hidden. Kingsman, I thought, did the opposite job. We'll get to that a little later, where it's like, this movie's trash. Mad Max, I'm like, well, they just showed all the good stuff. Whatever. I'll still go see it. Redman?
Yeah, I haven't seen Mad Max, but from the trailer, is it like basically a Borderlands kind of world?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's a world in which it's like an apocalyptic world where there's limited resources, but these like rulers essentially like there's Gas Town, there's like uh Bullet Town, all the like these like areas, and essentially yeah, there's a guy who has a samurai outfit made entirely of bullets. That's the thing.
My God.
It's insane, and it's the one that we're with is this guy. I forget. Morton Joe, which again everyone thinks he's an immortal god. And they worship the art of driving. Those guys are worshiping him, and he essentially has a ton of water, and water is like a very vital resource for everybody. The thing about it that's also pretty big about him is he's also like the world is so irradiated that a lot of people have like unfortunate diseases. By the way, they tell you all this not by telling you. They tell you it by like just like sites and stuff like that. That's how you figure out this whole story. It's actually really good in that part where there's a lot of world building with nothing said. It's just shown, and he's essentially trying to have children that are perfect in an imperfect world. So he's essentially is like keeping a bunch of women held hostage because he wants perfect children, and the whole story is essentially them escaping by Furiosa and Mad Max kind of just happening to be there, but it's still really, really
Yeah,
good.
Mad Max is a hero by circumstance, not by choice.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go later, like Ash vs. Evil Dead and stuff, but that's a running theme, and it's so good. It is so good.
You should put a spoiler warning.
We will.
Okay.
I mean, that's literally, like, here's the thing. That's in the first, like, 10 minutes that all happens. After that, it's a 2-hour car chase. And I can't
Jesus
explain to you
Christ.
how amazing a 2-hour car chase is. And you maybe say, oh my god, that gets boring. No, it doesn't. I can't tell you like everything that goes on, but it's just so good. The effects, the vehicle destruction is insane. They have all these different gangs and bandits come into play. There's like with all the different designs. There's like a porcupine design where they have all these like literally come in and literally like people to counteract this will kill themselves. And how they do it is they'll spray paint on their mouth, they'll gray paint and like say for Valhalla and just like put on essentially a Panzerfaust on their body and like on a stick and just charge at the car and blow up the car, and everyone else be like, he died for Valhalla. That's like a simple moment, but you understand like the religious philosophy and everything. It's really interesting.
This is kind of sounding like a Michael Bay wet dream.
Michael Bay would have put special effects in it. This is actual like the special effects are in the background and they hide a lot of stuff. They don't. It's not on the forefront, which is Transformers. The problem with a lot of special effects is they want you to look at it, and that's special effects are not for. Special effects are for hiding stuff, in my opinion. That's why Star Wars does such a good job because it's a lot of practical with CG like amplifying it, not just there. Even though Jurassic Park used a lot of CG, it did still have a lot of practical effects, and that kind of masked a lot of just like bad CG they had. But honestly, yeah, Tyler?
So the main note I would have is yes, it was a good film, it's an amazing film, but it wasn't your favorite. There was a film this year that came out of nowhere that you were stressing me, and that is at number 3 with Kingsman: The Secret Service.
The best spy film of the year, easily.
Yeah.
Beats Spectre, beats Spy. I'm sorry, was it McCartney? But like. I was like, oh my god, that film is so good. You see the trailer and you think, oh my god, this is trash. This is a hot piece of trash. It's essentially a spy film. They're just trying to redo James Bond. Maybe it's a little bit funny. That film is so funny. It has so much heart to it. It is some of the best action sequences in any film that has come out like in recent memory. Look up
Yep.
Westboro Baptist Church, what was it, Westboro Baptist Church, Kingsman, and my God,
Oh
you'll be
yeah,
treated to a
that was
5 minute
brutal.
spectacle that is insane, and it's one continuous shot, and it's just like, oh my God. People make fun of Samuel Jackson because he plays the villain and he has like a lisp, and the henchman is like like a
It's
woman with
you.
like swords for legs. But it's essentially an older James Bond film made now, but it has so much like comedy to it. It still has like the quote unquote violence to it, and it's so unpredictable because you think it's gonna go one way and it changes, stuff like that. And they play a lot of tropes and then they don't play a lot of tropes. It's really good in that regard. But yeah, if you're looking for a good James Bond film, go see Kingsman. It's easily, easily better than Spectre.
And again, that's why we placed it number 3. Number 2 for Jurassic World was definitely a nostalgia. It was one of our biggest nostalgia shocks of the year. But sadly, it couldn't overtake number 1, which, I mean, it had people on social media thinking this actually happened in real life, and there was a guy that we rescued off of Mars. And that would be The Martian.
Yeah. So I saw this film and I went with a bunch of my it was literally after we were doing a study group. I'm like, hey, let's go see a movie. So we go to see The Martian. And I thought, yeah, again, I've heard good things about it. I'm like, yeah, it's good. I can't tell you. Anytime you watch a movie, you always hold there's a suspension of disbelief or there's like an issue that people have. When it's hard to to state this, but The Martian was a film you go into seeing, you come out, and it's just it's as close to a perfect movie you can have. Like there's no lingering
Wow.
questions, there's nothing like that. I can't explain the sense of just like fulfillment that you get from watching the film. It's a great comedy. It gets seriously dark. It has a lot of there's no bad characters in that. I can't stress this enough. There are no bad characters. And it's not that they're not villains. There's not people going against the main character and everyone's out for themselves in a lot of different ways. But there's no bad character. And they have I want to say maybe 2 to 3 dozen characters in this, and they pull each one so well. And Matt Damon carries this film in a way that it didn't even need to be carried. Like he does such a phenomenal job of playing like a guy trapped on a planet by himself and just doing everything he can. The science portions are fantastic. The adventure portions are great. The landscape is beautiful. I, it's hard to criticize this film because there's not really, if anything, to criticize.
In essence, I think that's, bro. You kept mentioning the main lead, and I think that's the film's biggest strong suit. A lot of films that rely on a central protagonist, like a central character, a film can live or die. It doesn't matter about the side characters of and this can go to a TV show, but if the main character is bad and the side characters are good, you don't want to watch that series or you don't want to watch that show. But The Martian has such a great lead and great side characters that you actually care if he makes it back home.
Yeah, I feel like you could there could be a lot of comparisons to films where there's a singular protagonist in this. I think like one of the big ones was I guess I could think of is oh, what's I Am Legend or something where it's essentially you have one character and it's by himself. The thing though is about this film is it's kind of like those films where it's like Will Smith by himself or something like that, and it's just and maybe a couple other characters. But the thing is, I don't think anyone has done like such a good job by themselves. So yeah, it's remarkable how well Matt Damon pulled that off, which is why I say we put it at number one. But anyway, that's with movies. I think we covered everything pretty well. So now let's move on to TV shows.
Yes. So this is going to be my basically area of expertise. Now I did the video. And
Funny.
ha ha ha. So basically, we started off with our honorable mentions, which last week tonight with John Oliver, great new show for him on HBO. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. You can even pull up the clips on YouTube for free. He puts them out there, and they're really good. We also had the likes of Parasite, which was again a nice surprise. It was I heard good things. Watched it. It has a lot of problems, but it still has a decent heart with it. Ruby, which is definitely pulling through with a great season. Ash versus the Evil Dead, which, I mean, it has Bruce Campbell. I mean, it has a charismatic Bruce Campbell at his core, so you can't beat that either. And then we also have One Punch Man. But here, bro, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I will say this. Parasite, I will defend. I know you saw like, oh, this is okay. That was like the first, like when I watched that anime at the beginning of the, like it ended earlier this year. It was one, and I'm just like, oh my god, my jaw dropped. That like, I know a lot of people may say like, oh, it's an okay anime, and to be fair, it has a couple issues here and there, but just the relationship between the main character and the parasite and stuff like that is just really well done, and I can't. And just like I guess the dynamics between each of the parasites, and there's more than one. There's all groups and factions, stuff like that. It's just really, really well done, and political wise also. So that's why I push for it. Another thing is you may say, where's the Daily Show? If you like, last week tonight, the Daily Show we thought was then it's the last year of Jon Stewart. We thought it was really good. The thing about it is, I feel like and Trevor Noah is also great. We are not discounting Trevor Noah. We just felt as a whole, Last Week Tonight was just better. As a better comedy, better political,
Also
and did
better
a better job
informative.
of just hammering key positions. Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, so again, those were the honorable mentions, but the strongest honorable mention, which came out of freaking nowhere, and I thought it was a meme at first. I literally thought this was just a meme of, that's, was being created, is One Punch
Let
Man.
me guess. Knew it.
I mean, you've seen the videos, but yeah. So Blueleader,
You've
Redman,
been talking about it all the time.
and
About this guy who can apparently punch the moon down on someone.
it's
He doesn't punch the moon on someone. He gets punched to the moon and jumps back.
Oh, same
without
thing.
suffering any damage. So, for those who don't understand the show, I won't go into too much detail. It's basically imagine Superman, but Superman who doesn't hold back in any way, shape, or form. Like if Lex Luthor was in front of him with a death robot, Superman would punch him with everything. Well, not everything, but he would punch him with such force that everything behind him would be destroyed, and Lex Luthor would be vaporized. That's basically the premise of this show. It's a guy that doesn't hold back, and the characters around them and the villains. It's just like it's a normal show. All the villains are like, oh, I have this awesome backstory, and then just boom, like they think like he's nothing, and then just get KO'd in one shot. Also, he doesn't hold back. Like this isn't like, oh, you're gonna be okay for the next time. They're gone. They're just like a smear across the wall, and his interaction and again those around him, like his sidekick Genos, is basically like I would say like he's a good character, but he's also like what you see with the many other shows. Like he would be the lead. Like his family was killed by an evil robot, and he's trying to hunt him down. He's been a hero, and like I think it's the second episode, he's basically explaining this to the main guy Saitama. And the other guy's just shut up. 20 words or less. Like he after like 3 minutes of this backstory, and he's just like had it. But yeah, it's a good show.
He's just bored.
Yeah, he's just literally a bored guy because nothing challenges him, and nothing really does to like the season finale, and even this master evil villain still doesn't hold a candle to him. It's great. So if you guys want a comedy series, they should be dumbing it soon, but
Yeah.
The action and whatnot is definitely recommended. Heck, you can probably pull it up on YouTube. But again, we didn't put this in number 10, and we listed this as an honorable mention because it's a show that it's fantastic, but it's also incomplete. It's only a season 1. It has a lot of parts. It's a lot of setup, and the action sequences are great. But yeah,
There's also just no character development or no like all the characters are interesting, but you don't spend any time with them other than like Genos really. And even Saitama, by the time you get around to the second or third episode, you know him. he doesn't necessarily change all that much, and even parts where it's like you think he will change, like there's a really, really nice talk where he talks with like a lower level hero that doesn't have really any special powers. He's just trying to do what he can. It's just, yeah, it just doesn't really go anywhere, and it's like Genos, you can see a progression at least, but he's a secondary character. He's not the main character. The main character is not doing anything, which is why, compared to our number 10, iZombie, we're like between the two. It's like, well, iZombie has heart, action, and comedy, all but better characters in our book, which is why it's at number 10. And it's such a good show.
Yeah, and then again at like number 9, we have even better characters. Like, it's a fantastic season, Red versus Blue. Some great character moments, great action, but some missteps. But yeah, I think at the very heart, it's the characters that definitely win out of TV series, because you're definitely with them the most. Like, Redman, Blueleader, what would be like your top series for the year? I guess we'll start with Redman.
Well, I agree with some of your picks, like Game of Thrones, obviously, and
Should we defend Game of Thrones? Should we explain why Game of Thrones not in the top 5? Because I feel like last
No,
year
it's
people
fine.
got really mad too. Because like, why is Game of Thrones not in your top 5? Game of Thrones had probably the best episodes in its last like third, maybe last half. I think the first 5 episodes though.
We're so
Oh
boring.
my god. I'm sorry. Usually Game of Thrones, I know. It's like they have suspense, especially with season 4 with no offense. Well, right, we're talking spoilers. Joffrey's death. Like everyone's like,
Season
oh
4
my
was the best
god.
one, yes.
Well, when
Yeah.
I saw Joffrey die, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't care. This makes me a horrible person for watching a horrible person die with, no remorse. But I smiled when I saw him dying. And then I saw his last act be like to fuck over Tyrion one more time. And
But
I was
no,
just
I
like,
felt.
he couldn't have died more painfully. Like, come on.
But if you ask me, like, what was my top 5 moments of the season, all of them are in the final. Like, the whole battle in the north that again occurred, and it's just like the Daenerys dragon moment. The again, you could say the moment between Daenerys and Tyrion. You could say again, like, you could say Arya's like rise to assassination. It's just like it's all these interesting dynamic moments that were building up very slowly, but it ended so well. That was great. But the problem is the first half of the season was just that slow.
And again, I guess we'll jump back to like just using reference. Like number 8, we have The Man in the High Castle. Again, it's a great. I think with Game of Thrones, it's a great universe. Like it's great world building. It's really, really good. But yeah, it's just it kind of fell flat in certain areas. Redman?
The final 5 minutes though is oh my god. But yeah, Redman, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, why did you guys not put The Walking Dead in your top 10? Or did you not even
Oh.
watch it at all?
No, I watch it. The reason why I didn't put The Walking Dead was because we put a show in here, and typically we'll put a show. It's like, oh, it does this really well. The Walking Dead, if I recall correctly, we're talking like again, it would be season 5 we would be adding, and then season 6. The problem I felt with both of those was I don't like. So far what's been going on in the city of is it Arcadia? Am I wrong? Alexandria.
Alexandria,
I
yeah.
don't know. I just felt that what's been going on in there has just been. It's not the best of Walking Dead. I know people will say,
I
but
agree.
did you really like them walking through the woods for so long? Like, no. But I love the governor stuff, and right now, even though we're in a centralized location again, it's kind of reminiscing back to season 2. I know season 2 was really slow, probably the worst of Walking Dead, but it's kind of harkening back to that, where it's like they're in a location, there isn't much going on. Yeah, there was the big Walker horde, and that was interesting, and then we had the Glenn fake out, but I mean, I just felt like it just wasn't progressing at a good, like there wasn't a lot of interesting stuff happening within within that cool environment, because again, that's like the last bastion of hope for pretty much the entire United States. I think that's one of the last places that like literally that anyone could really have civilization, and that's boring for some reason. And I don't know how they can make it so.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing about like The Walking Dead. For myself, I stopped watching after the governor's second attack because at that point I grew kind of bored. Because for myself, I don't like The Walking Dead, and maybe this is why I didn't try to stress for it this year. The Walking Dead, I feel, is a universe where you don't want to get invested because there is no hope. Like even if that I love dark series, don't get me wrong. A lot of our series are dark. The Man in the High Castle, Game of Thrones. But at the same time, you can always see a little gleaming shite, no matter what darkness. No, even the Lannisters, if they're taken over, you can still see the noble knight who's trying to work. Yes, he's freaking having kids with his sister, but he's still trying to do what's right for the family. You used to have like
Oh Lord, have
you
mercy.
used
You
to
have to bring that
have
up.
you could even see that with Tyrion, with Daenerys. They're characters with lights in them, and with The Walking Dead, it's just pummel after pummel. It's like, oh yeah, you have to come back no matter how you die. So basically, the whole future's dead. There we go.
Yeah.
All the characters make no progression because it's like, oh, we're gonna do the right thing, and now we're never gonna do it again. But we're gonna nope, never, nope. It just goes back on itself again and again and again, and that I just can't stand that series because of it.
It's literally, I'm not trying to be mean. For The Walking Dead, it's literally like playing DayZ with a group of people and just watching it slowly go to hell. Like there's no hope. There's no end game. It's just yeah, although the characters you could say are fantastic, but literally everyone is going to kill like everyone's going to die. But anyway, that's also a reason why there was another show that we kind of missed out, The Leftovers. I know it's a show that really people like, but like I said, it's so depressing, so dark that neither myself nor my brother really liked it. I started watching it and I was just like, no, thank you. And I know those shows are for some people, but it's just not for. I don't like it, and as you heard, my brother doesn't like it. But go on, Redman.
I just wanted to like before you guys move on, one last honorable mention from me for people listening to this podcast. A very underrated show called The Last Kingdom. You can look it up. It's really good,
Is
but
that
so underrated.
that is one I
What
wanted
is
to
it
Ah,
get
the
about?
one with
into.
the Kingdom of Mercia.
What is it about, Redman?
It's
Describe it.
basically the like Viking age, the Vikings invading Britain and the like early formation of the Kingdom of England.
Okay. So that's interesting. One thing I do want to say, we are not perfect. There is a show that we kind of missed, um, and that show is Rick and Morty.
Oh dang it! I forgot. Oh wow! I can't believe we. Wow!
What's that?
Wow!
Fail.
Oh my
I don't know
god!
what it is, but fail.
We are imperfect. That show would probably easily have been in. Probably would have knocked out iZombie easily. But yeah, we forgot about it. It came out earlier this year, and yeah, we were looking over everything. We couldn't. We're like, yeah, we have all. And then like, I suddenly realized, like, after we put it, I'm like, oh, Rick and Morty. It's so funny, so good, so heartfelt. That show it's a disservice not to put it on there. So we apologize for that. We had the same thing last year with Hannibal, where we did not include Hannibal, and I love that show so much. And I would have probably been the top 5, but I just forgot about it because it was so early in the year that I watched that. I was like, oh, well, okay,
Well, here I guess we'll.
missed that.
I guess we'll go through. I'll do rapid fire unless Blueleader or Redman, you guys have any notes. So at number 6 we have Fargo, which again better than Game of Thrones because it keeps you engaged with the characters. The characters do. It's a dark crime kind of show, and it's set in the 70s with Ronald Reagan running for president in 1979. It's dark. It's funny. It's lightning. It's dark. It's hilarious. It's a good trip and it has some great characters. So if you haven't seen season 1, catch it and then catch season 2, or even if you haven't seen season 1, you can see season 2 without worry of anything because they're so different in timelines. You'll be fine. And then we also have at number 5 we have Daredevil, which again a nice surprise hit. It took a character which everyone thought could not be done well thanks to what was that guy's name? I'm blanking on it. He's playing Batman now. Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah. He
He's
basically,
playing Daredevil?
He did play Daredevil. He played in the 2000, I think 3 or 1 or something
Oh,
like that.
that
Yeah.
early movie. My
Yeah,
bad.
that
Such an award-winning performance that everyone shunned it out of their minds.
was freaking award-winning performances. You want to talk about reversal? Okay, fun facts. My brother and I are big fans of Halo, and at number 4, we found out a character that played in Halo Nightfall, like the main lead. I don't know his name, but he plays Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. He can act. Who knew? You never would have known by watching that freaking movie.
You mean, watching the movie and the game? Oh my, like his lines are bare, and that just goes to the point that the Halo 5 script for the story was just bad. It was like, God damn it, whoever was on dialogue or like story modes did not give that guy enough effort, because I felt so bad, because I'm like, after seeing Nightfall and then after seeing Halo 5, I'm like, this guy's okay, it could be better, and then watching Jessica Jones, I'm like, this guy is fantastic. Why didn't they give him good lines?
Yeah, well, they also decided to make Cortana, crazy despite whatever previous programming she may or may not have had.
Well, here we'll get to that
Yeah,
once we get there. But
sorry.
number 3, we had The Flash, which again, my brother saw it. I was kind of like, okay. And then I think I watched it all on Netflix in the span of like a week. And dear God, it was great. It's basically science solves everything. The show. It has. I mean, the villains are good. The action is great. The special effects. If you go look up Gorilla Grodd, if you don't believe me, for Gorilla Grodd for
I'm
on
really
YouTube.
surprised you didn't use that. I wanted you to use that, and I'm like, where's Gorilla Grodd? You're using off the first episode. Why don't you show Gorilla Grodd?
I did it
You,
not to
you, you,
spoil
you,
because
you pulled off demonic red dragon from Hannibal, but apparently you can't pull off Gorilla Grodd. Oh well, that's fine.
I try, but
But the whole dynamic between Reverse Flash and Flash is something that Reverse Flash is probably one of the best super villains on TV ever. Like, I think that's a good cementing. Like, it's built up in such a good way between the
Isn't
two.
his name
that-
like Zoom or something?
Zoom is another. It's the new season. It's the new villain, new season. And by the way, in the first like the whole thing with CW was they started Arrow and it was like realistic, and then they started Flash and it was like, yeah, let's be goofy. And then by the end of season 1, and this is again, we're in spoilers, a giant portal singularity opens up, which they close at the beginning of season 2 because it's literally destroying the city in one of the best moments on TV for special effects that I've ever seen, and especially for season 2. And then in season 2, they have supervillains, by the way, that are even crazier coming from Earth 2. That's right, there's an Earth 2 that opened up, which include Killer Shark.
Shark.
King Shark. Sorry, King Shark is in there, and he looks as good as a TV show. You have like Sand Demon, you have Killer Frost, you have all like Zoom, which is their version. You even have like versions of Flash coming in, different versions of Flash that are like look like the campy World War II ones, but it's so good. It's so good. And here's a fun fact. Gorilla Grodd has an entire city of super smart apes that now possibly under his command. So that might be coming into play. And it's like, if you would go back to like Arrow season 1, you're like, they're never going to touch upon this. And now I'm like, what can't they touch upon? Like, what can't they do? I'm more excited for the CW shows in DC than the actual DC movies, because I feel like they are going to be more crazy than DC movies, which is sad.
Well, the thing with DC movies is like they give away all of the plot in the damn trailers.
You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
You're not wrong. Well, here, going to number 2, let me put it like this, guys, just so you guys get a know for number 2 and number 1 for series. This was the most contentious battle my brother and I had between the two of us. My brother was on the side of number 2, I was on the side of number 1, and concessions were made with other things, with other places, but essentially what won out is both are fantastic shows in different ways. Hannibal is a show that is very, 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 very dark. And that's kind of what that's kind of what was the major note for it. It's a show that not I don't think everyone can get into. I can't even get into it. Like I've seen parts, but I can't even watch it because I can't even stand that much gratuitous horror. My brother, on the other hand, well, go on, bro.
Yeah, we know he's a little twisted.
I can't I can't. All right, so again, we're going into spoiler. That show is literally built upon the relation between Hannibal Lecter and the other lead character, who again, it's like who like it's and for the other in the like this other main character, Will Graham, and it's like oh. It's like, well, it's like how does that play out? It's just like villain. It's like no, it's like their relationship is so complicated because they've tried to kill each other so many times. And like Hannibal's tried to eat Will. He tried to peel open his head to get into his brain. Will tried to shot
Okay.
Hannibal and
Okay.
had a murderer try to kill him and like castrate. It's like really interesting
We get
stuff.
it.
But the point of the matter is, it's it's a show that it deals with relationships and stuff like that. Hannibal himself is a dark sociopath who thinks everyone else is lower than him in every shape way. Well, Will Graham is a good-hearted guy who can think like a villain, and unfortunately, sometimes those thoughts take over his judgment. Um, it's so again, it's so good. The different villains that pop up, the consequences of them are really, really threatening and violent, by the way. Like, again, it's like the first season, it's like, oh, it's villain of the week. Well, each villain of the week has a consequence that builds up and ramps up, and you're like, oh my god, where's this going to go? And every season is different. Like, every single season is very, very different. And every season finale is so well done that it kind of would act like a season, like a series finale. That's why everyone was hoping for a season 3, because if it would have ended on season two's finale, literally it's like villain wins, everyone died, the end. So we're very happy that only some people died at the end of Hannibal season 2, and other people were crippled in other capacities
Well, here.
Well,
So,
to
Redman,
make the
Blue Leader,
glorious season 3.
do you guys have any thoughts on the matter before we hit number one?
I've never seen
Nope.
Hannibal, and judging by what I've just heard, I never will in my
Oh yeah, it's
life
dark.
ever touch it.
There are portions where people are sawed in half and like they're put
It's
in spectacle. There's a guy
you're
that
sta
literally he has his vital organs taken out of his body and he's holding it as the police are coming in. He's like, "Please help me," because he's holding in
Sounds
all of
like
his vital
Saw.
organs. Kind of,
No,
but
it
it's better
sounds
done.
like
It's a lot more artistic and it's a lot better. It's like I'm saying a lot of violent stuff, but then
artistic.
it's so well choreographed and so well shot that like when he's cooking food you're like I'm hungry, and then you see when he's
Oh
in
my
the food
god.
and you're like I'm not hungry. So it's like it's a really, really awesome balance they do.
So,
I'm very happy that Hannibal Lecter is now in Doctor Strange. He's the main villain in Doctor Strange and I cannot wait.
not the actual, like, not Hannibal Lecter is not going to be fighting Doctor Strange. It's the actor, I should note. But
Yes, and by the way, he's the villain of Casino Royale. If you need a better, I
Calling
forget
Hannibal dark is like I, I, there's no comparison. It's just an understatement of the highest order.
so basically, that edge, that sharpness, is kind of what my brother kind of. It's what brought Hannibal or kept Hannibal at number two, because it's not. It's not that it's not a show for everybody, because we understand like, it's just a show that it's very hard to it's a great show, but it's such an edge to it which can like
There's
kill
a
your.
reason why it was canceled.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very. If you have a good stomach, it's a great show, but you have to have a tough stomach. Whereas number one, I think the only criticism I can give it is the format it is in, which is it's not live action, and I guess you can tie it to last year, the number one, but for this year, our number one was a show called Steins Gate, and if you've never seen it, and and if you dislike anything from Japan, this is not going to change your mind. I'll put it that there. But if you have an open mind and you like great characters and you can get part of a relatively slow start, you will find one of the best executed shows pretty much that I've ever seen. And that is, I'm saying that as myself. So this show I saw right after, or like a few weeks after Parasite. And maybe it was just because I didn't appreciate that and I was so blown away by this. I literally, my brother got me watching Parasite, and he said, "Hey, bro, bet you can't find a show that I will watch like that." I was like, "Okay." So about a month went by. I then went back. I found this show, went through it. I was basically shell shocked, and I told my brother, "Hey, watch this." And he's like, "Okay." And it took him a while, and then once I realized he watched it literally in, I think, how long did it take you, bro? A day and a half to watch the entire show?
2 days.
2 days. He
Shit,
watched it in
dude.
2 days. And it's
Guess you got shown
24
up.
episodes. Yeah, exactly. So it's just to give a premise of the show, it's all about time travel. Not like using time travel. This isn't Back to the Future. This is the actual act of time travel and the manipulation of it, and them trying to set things right, and them manipulating with it, because it's all about this guy named Hohin Kiyoma. And I don't know the names of most shows. Like, I know I've seen a few animes. I cannot tell you the main characters' names in Japanese of those shows, but I can in Steins Gate, because the characters you actually care for by the end. Because the characters, they actually have character. Like, you actually root for some, you don't like others, but you can understand their motivations. And they are really human. And in that sense, I really like that. The main spotlight, though, is Hoin Kiyoma. It's the main lead. He's so charismatic and so bombastic that you're like, oh, he's just one-dimensional. But he actually has a reason for it. His character is by far the most complex, and it works out so well, because by the end of it, this guy's gone through literally hell, and you are cheering for him at the end. Like, it works out so well. But here, Blueleader, Redman, have you guys ever heard anything about this show or anything of that nature?
From you,
Other than
yes.
from you guys?
Lots of stuff about the show from you. But other than that, on my own, no, I can't say I have, for better or for worse.
Yeah, so it's not an action series. It's a much more thrilling series. It's much more involved. And yes, it does have the shortcomings of, it does have some staples of, that are sadly still present in Japan. Like, there are some scenes which I do like cringe at. But they are like few and far between. Like, I think there are like only 2 in the entire series that I can think of off the top of my head.
What kind of scenes do you mean? Because there's a lot of, like,
Well,
quote-unquote trope moments that come from Japan
again, it's a
that are
trope moment.
cringeworthy.
But the fact is, this show doesn't have those tropes. Like, there is no token character. Like, there's no character that you would say, oh, it's just there to, please fans. Like a fan service moment. No. I wouldn't say there is any character like that. Every character has a central, has a point to the story. And that point is revolved around, or shown, or influenced. And that's whether it's the, Mayori, which is like the best friend of I almost want to say Saitama, of Kiyoma, or it's the hacker, or it's any of these characters. They all play their own roles, and they're all interconnected some way, shape, or form, and it's very well done. So that's why I'll leave Steins Gate. It's a show that everything's connected so well, and once you finish it, I highly recommend waiting like a few weeks and going back and watching it again, because there are so many little moments that you didn't pick up on. Because again, this is a time travel show. So everything that's done in the season finale affects the first episode. And so on. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But here, let's go back. Bro, you were, this is definitely going to be something between us, but let's head to the top 10 games for this year, which definitely has been a rocky road, to say the least.
Well, it doesn't help that, when we made this list, it's like, can we fit everything in the top 10? And it's like, also, once again, there were fights. There were fights in TV shows, there were fights in movies, there was fights in games. The biggest one was TV show, because I won Hannibal #1. And I again, all the shows came out this year. Steins Gate had new episodes this year. That's why we put it in there. It barely qualified, but it got in. Because it was a remix of the original season, which is why it's a new episode of the original season. So that's why it's in there.
But
You sound so unhappy
even
about
then,
that fact.
we had the exceptions last year where it came with, like, listen, it's also to the point where why I stress like the season one, like one of the Flash. It's like it's the season that we saw it, and that's where we discovered. Like that's the thing I make note. Everyone discovers shows at different times. So for some people, they discover a show, and that's what they associate with that year. Like for me, like for myself,
Yeah, me too.
2014 is the year of the Legend of Korra because it had 2 seasons in it. For 2015, it would be. Well, I mean, there's a personal matter that definitely takes much, high precedence for 2015. But, for 2015, for TV series, Steins Gate was definitely the winner because that's when I found it. For 2013, I think it would be last year I'd also say Fargo was definitely one of the showstoppers. But year before that, there's always been like these great shows or great movies that pop up, and I think it's really when you experience them that really hits the note. That's why, again, Steins Gate I vote would for be TV series, or for let's say games, we have Company of Heroes 2 at number 9. It's a game that's been out for a long time, but the British update gives us an excuse to bring it back
Whoa,
up
whoa,
again.
whoa, whoa! We have a system in place where we don't interrupt. I will interrupt. You are missing a lot of honorable mentions here, sir. You are missing a lot of good honorable mentions. For
Plus
example,
number 10.
probably one of the biggest surprises of the year, honestly, for me, City Skylines.
Oh,
The
yeah.
game that literally fixed SimCity and made SimCity look like a joke.
Can we
That I can't
It wouldn't have been too hard, let me be honest.
Well,
go
you're
on.
Blueleader. You're an expert on this game.
Yeah.
You talk.
I am hardly an expert on
You've
either
played it.
SimCity or City Skylines, but I haven't played City Skylines in like a month though, I'm not gonna lie. But SimCity portrayed itself as, or that is, 2015 version of it, portrayed itself as the next big city simulation game where you could make this massive, sprawling metropolis and you would be able to view information in new ways, that everything would be made is simplified for you. It basically promised itself to be everything the fans of the series were asking for, and it accomplished very few of these things. It was very small in scope, too small for me. Like I tried making cities several times, and each time, once it reached a certain critical mass, and I was never able to finish it, it failed, more or less. I was never able to continue expanding it, went into bankruptcy. Now, whether or not that's a result of my incompetence at governing a city, which I don't think I'm that bad, or if it was game mechanics failing, like the traffic system was absolutely god awful.
I will agree with you there. I tried to. My city looked like a jumbled mess because I added so many highways and freeways cutting around the city that it's just like it looks terrible. But I'm like, this
It
is
really
keeping
doesn't matter. It
traffic in
doesn't
the
matter.
yellow. It's not green, but it's yellow. It's not red.
It honestly doesn't even matter because there's only one road leading in and out. So no matter what you do, no matter how much mass transit you add, it's always going to be a terrible traffic snarl.
And again,
Yes,
But after
Greyshot?
that, I had Lara Croft Go, which I played so much when I played Civ with you guys, because like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything, slow turns, let me put on Lara Croft Go, and it was the probably best mobile game of the year. It's it's better than Fallout Shelter, I'll say that.
And the other note I have about these, it's definitely the first three. We should note, City Skylines was not from a major developer. It was a
Oh
smaller
yeah,
game. Lara Croft Go is a smaller
Yeah,
game, but it was still very big in quality. And that's the other thing I make note with.
Agario.
Agario, yeah. Agario is a very simple game, but it was so much fun. It was such a blast to play, and I probably spent hours
I
playing
hated it
Agario.
so much until I won, and then I was like, I love this game.
My
I mean,
favorite
technically I didn't
achievement.
win, but sorry.
My favorite achievement is in Agario. No, you're fine. I messed up. Anyway, in Agario, I know Lara, not Laura. Laura, not Laura. Whatever. Anyway,
Lara
whatever.
Croft,
The
damn it.
point of the matter is, Agario, my favorite achievement in that game is lasting an hour. I lasted an hour without dying, and I'm just like,
Ah.
oh, I can't. And I was like, let me play for 5 minutes, and then I'll go to
What
bed. And then I'm
size
like,
did you
I'll
get
die.
to?
As
I'm
soon as I die,
curious.
I'll leave. I got to in the top 10, then I fell. Then I got to top 10 again, then I fell.
Ha,
And then I almost
I
got to
beat
top
you.
10 again and got eaten by the biggest one.
I beat you. I was the biggest one for like 20 minutes, and then I got bored. I could have kept going, but oh man.
Is that what you say to all the ladies? Oh, I just got bored. I could have kept going, but I just got bored.
Oh ha ha ha.
Well, here now. Speaking of the big launches though, we had GTA Heists, which were like, oh, they're never coming out, and dear God, when they came out, they were fantastic. And then the kind of the flip side, we had World Warships, which the beta was fantastic, and my brother and Redman especially could not stop playing it. I literally got invites to that every single day, and I wasn't a fan.
You're
of the
forgetting
series.
me.
Yeah, these three assholes over here. I got invited.
No, you
Watch your
played War
language.
Thunder.
There are children potentially watching this broadcast.
Yeah,
You
children.
played War Thunder.
I'll put a language warning. But no, War Thunder was good, and I invited you guys on occasion. But World of Warships, I swear, was a phenomenon with these three for the longest of times. And then the game came out, and everyone was like, meh. Like, it didn't matter. It was just like, meh.
We put so
They
many
wiped
hours
all the
into it.
progress.
Yeah, we were so high, and they wiped all of our progress. We're like, we had so much fun with that, and the beta is essentially the main game, which is, I think, slower progression.
Yeah,
But,
and now
yeah,
they've added Russian ships that are like really, really heavy on like torpedoes, which is really like the most powerful thing in the game right now,
But I
irrespective
can't
of their short
discount.
range. I didn't even
can't
know the
discount
Russians
how
had
much
a real
fun.
navy.
Yeah. Well, they did.
I mean,
just very small.
God forgive me, and Russia forgive me, because I know the Russians in World War II fought the damnedest and the hardest of any other nation. They sacrificed the most. They were the linchpin around which Hitler's invasion plans for all of Europe hinged, and that failed, and they pushed him back, and they were the reason that he committed suicide. God thank, or just
Or did
thank
he?
God. Well, good.
Oh,
He
he
better
did.
have,
Shut up.
because I swear to God, he deserved nothing less. If not, he deserved a more horrible fate than what he really got.
If he-
he cheated death in that sense, but
If he didn't, there were 2 million Russians saying hello. That would have gladly put 10 bullets into a skull.
no, they would have done a Mussolini. They would have like hung him at like a gas station and then lined up to spit on his body, and that would have been a long ass line. They would have made a lot of money off that line. 2 tickets, wait, 2 rubles to go ahead and spit on Hitler's body. Move along, please. Yes, 2 rubles, thank you. But for all of that, I never knew they had a real navy beyond like maybe a couple of destroyers or borrowed cruisers. I never heard of most of these ships that they have out now, and I'm wondering if most of these are conceptualized or what.
Fun fact: most of them were destroyed by the Japanese, and they were never heard from again.
I want to say, I want to say ha, but then again, the Japanese, like 30 or so years later, turned around and just fucked us up.
35.
So
Yeah.
But yeah.
The other note I'll make about World Warships is it's good game in theory, but for the longevity, again, like the whole franchise, like War Thunder, I think is the superior, and I'm sad it was an honorable mention. Even as much as I stressed, but yeah, it just it kind
flopped.
It wasn't
yeah.
compared, like World of Warships. I looked at it as incremental updates. While World of Warships is an entirely new game,
True.
and I don't. Does World of Warships? I'm sorry. Does War Thunder have warships in it?
No, it doesn't.
Alright.
Yes, but you can't use them. Like they're
Yeah.
present, like on like maps where there's a coastal battle,
They're coming
or
out,
is a battle
correct?
for an island. I don't
They're-
know.
they're- Okay.
They want
Honestly-
to make it, but
Honestly,
it's a
I
slow
don't think I would
progress.
play it. I don't even think I would play it if that was the case, because one, with the whole graphic settings, I can't quite play it with the power supply I have right now. Like they increased the settings, they basically like eliminated the lower settings entirely. So for those people,
What if they gave you submarines, unlike World of Warships, which I will say, god dang it, give me.
then it would
Look,
be
World
Battle
of Warships
Station
is the closest I'm
specific.
going to get to Battle Station Specific sequel. Please, submarine.
I will.
Big
I
island.
will admit, a submarine mechanic would be a welcome relief from World of Warships style, but at the same time, I feel like it wouldn't fit anything more than realistic, because realistic matches are slow, but arcade matches tend to be very quick paced. And submarines, they're not a weapon that you can use quickly unless you're trying to kill yourself along with everyone on your ship. They're essentially metal coffins that are literally that's the purpose they serve. They are metal coffins that skulk in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, waiting for a chance to strike at a very important target
Yep.
and slip away again.
Yep.
And
That's why
if they
Bastion
get caught,
specific is great.
the coffin part of their, of the job requirement, becomes very literal because then everyone inside that thing is entombed in the thing for all of eternity, or until the fish pick over all their bones.
So good.
Well, here let's divulge. I think we spent enough time on the World of Warships War Thunder, that debate.
True.
We're gonna move on to a series
True.
that is very close to this channel's heart at the moment, which is Company of Heroes 2. So last year, Company of Heroes 2, it was our number 1, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now
Yes.
it's our number 9, and here's a note. This is
Good.
not saying it's not a bad game. Our note for it
I
is
hate it.
the British expansion was good, but it wasn't as good as the OKW and American implementation. And therefore, it wasn't that much of a change to the overall game, and it was only one faction. If it would have been 2, it might have been a much bigger impact.
That also, I want to state that all these picks for all the lists, they're not based off ratings, they're not based off some Metacritic score, they're based on personal enjoyment and what we thought of it. So yes, we thought the British expansion was a good thing. And last year, we thought the Ardennes Assault plus the OKW thing really livened up
Ardennes, Lord have mercy.
Ardennes
sorry for
Assault
interrupting.
and
You killed me.
OKW and Americans were both great expansions and were probably our favorite games to play last year, which is why they're number 1. For this, Company of Heroes 2 has kind of dropped a little bit, honestly. I've had way more enjoyment in other games. I still have fun with Company of Heroes 2, but I think it's just because it's getting long in the tooth that I'm waiting for a sequel. But I think it's going to be Warhammer 3, honestly.
Well, here, speaking of things long in the tooth of development, we have at number 8 Rainbow Six Siege with a solid spot at number 8, and a very big surprise because everyone thought it would be very bad, but I mean, I like it, but bro, you definitely like it a lot more, I will say.
It's tactical. It's very focused. I do have 5 people playing. Unlike Evolve, where you need 5 friends playing, this is a situation where, again, you need 5 friends playing, but you're all playing together, not some stupid 4v1 stuff, which I'm sorry, Evolve. I don't know why you did that, but no wonder that game died quickly, because it's like, well, how is this going to work? At least in this situation, all of my friends, some MLG, some casual, all enjoy this because it's tactical. We focus. It's great gameplay. It's very balanced. Like, there's no side is better than the other. Like, there's no OP unit or operator in the game. That said, what holds it apart is its 5-on-5 multiplayer. But that's it. That's why it's only number 8. As much fun as I have, the situations are boring. The terrorist hunt's okay. I know a lot of people enjoy it. But it's like, the big thing is 5v5 versus other people on ranked. And again, it's only so much fun on one mode with a couple variations. That said, I have no idea what people are complaining about with microtransactions, with boosters. I have played that game for probably 20 hours and I have everything unlocked. And that's what the single player would normally have. So I really am confused.
Evolved?
No, for this game, there are progressions in game multiplayer which takes forever, but in this game, I have almost everything unlocked, and I've played for, I would say, 20, maybe 30 hours in this game. Maybe more, I don't know. I lose track in this game so quickly. But I can tell you right now, I've been playing it every so often now and again for the past, since it released. And I'll tell you again, I don't know why you would boost in this game. I really don't.
It's, again, for my note, it's definitely a game, and that's why I honestly feel it's a good entry, just not a great entry. Because I think the other Rainbow Sixes, or not Rainbow Sixes, but I feel like the other Tom Clancy titles were a little bit stronger, and this one, it felt repetitive to me. But obviously for my brother with the team, it didn't. But Redman, you were saying something? Or want to say something about this?
Yes. No, not about Rainbow Six Siege. I just wanted to say the next game in the line was one of my favorite games of the year, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Why don't you...
What is that game?
I'll let you guys go ahead first.
Nope.
No.
I'll give you my comments on.
Redman.
We're putting you on the
You're the
spotlight.
one who brought it up, my friend.
Yes, bro. It is just such a great experience. Like it's all I can like say to like wrap it up. It makes you laugh. It's fun. It's
So,
just so great.
What's
Can
the
I go into
game
spoilers
called?
on this?
Tales
No.
of the Borderlands, my god. Don't you know you're on damn list?
Well, I thought you guys would introduce it.
Oh, you can introduce
Well,
the game.
no,
My god.
Redman.
I never even played the damn thing. I know he loves the damn thing more than he. Oh my
Okay, let
Go
me
on,
explain to you.
go.
They have an entire sequence based off a banned Microsoft commercial that was pulled at the last moment. That's probably one of the best moments in gaming. They have. Sorry, I'm gonna stay. I say this, and I hate it. They have a giant monster mech fight in this game, which I can't believe that they do. And each time you
That
play it,
well.
it can be different because it's done as a Power Rangers moment with 5 people. Yeah, guess what? That's why, Tyler, that's why I kept telling you to play it, but we're in spoiler mode, so I don't care. They have 2 main protagonists. Each is varied, which is great, because each one comes from a different background. They have a great moments with Handsome Jack. They have great moments with the secondary characters. There's amazing moments because you don't know who's telling the truth. It's all done like a person telling a story, and they could be lying, so they could exemplify how they got out of a situation. And there's a huge mystery about who this mysterious traveler holding them hostage is. It's really, really good. It's seriously really good. I felt that again. The problem with this game compared to like The Wolf Among Us and stuff like that, it is funnier, but the whole my issue was I'm not a big Borderlands fan, which is probably a nick. Is I love everything about it except the Borderlands part of it, and it's so bad to say that, but everything else is good except for the Borderlands parts of it. That kind of just like, okay, who is this person? I'm supposed to know this person. All right, oh well.
For me, it was actually the other way around. Like, I also wasn't like into Borderlands and didn't really know it, but it got me to actually play the Borderlands games because that Tales was just so interesting and funny, and yeah, it made me
Borderlands
want to
always
play
blew my mind.
Borderlands.
I've played it at my friend's house. I can't say I was a fan of it at all. It just. Ugh,
Yeah, the gameplay is a bit stale, I will admit.
a bit. A bit. It's like you left the bread out in the sun for an hour.
Well, here.
And when I say sun, I mean like the hot raging sun of a goddamn desert.
Speaking about things in decay,
We have a number 6, Fallout 4, which I think I'm going to pretty much skip over this just because there's no need to enter. It's a really good game. It's kind of a letdown when it comes to the fact that it doesn't have the good or the bad choices that like are a staple of Fallout. Like it kind of lacks those ones. You can kind of, it's really, you're either a good guy or you're kind of a really good guy, or you're kind of a dick but still
Yeah.
a good guy at heart. Like there is no, you can't go good or bad like you could with Fallout 3 or New Vegas. And I guess you can choose the ending, but it's really, your character's kind of set even though you have customizability with said character. And it's kind of weird in that sense. But overall, still a fun game, still an action-packed game, and a game with a lot of good side stories. Like, I've put at least, I think, like 50 hours into this, and I know there's plenty more to go. And that actually leads us to another game, which I started playing. I didn't think I'd like, but then played it with my brother, and it turned out to be a really good experience, which is Dying Light.
You don't say. Could you perhaps explain to us and the viewers what this game might perhaps be in more detail?
It's like a
zombies,
It's a
good
really,
Dead Island.
the best way, the best way I can describe it is if you like Dead Island, it's a really refined version of Dead Island. The characters are
I
Isn't it
see.
from the same makers?
It is indeed. But it's a really refined version. The combat's satisfying. The characters, while the story isn't the greatest, it tells a solid story. And the villain, the characters, they're all maybe not the most fleshed out, but they're solid. Like the story goes where you don't expect it on occasion, and what you think is going to happen actually doesn't end up happening, which is something I liked about it. It took where I thought it was going to be, which was this, wrap up of a story, and it just takes a complete left turn, and that's what I liked personally. What about you, bro?
Overall, I was disappointed with the main character. I thought he was bland as heck, and I didn't like. the Simplify, you don't learn a single thing about him. He doesn't change out of it. He's just a goody two-shoes trying to save his own skin. And yeah, there's a moment with motivation changes, but you don't learn a single thing about him. He's just a blank slate used to change it. That said, every other character is great. The villain is good, although the boss fight with him is okay at best. It's eh. But again, I truly feel that the best parts about that game is combat, its parkour, and just the different variations of the environments. And overall, yeah, those exemplify the simple like issues I have with the story. That said, like I said, the every other character in Dying Light is better. Is better by far.
What would you say to people who might suggest that Assassin's
Oh,
Creed
and great co-op.
Syndicate, the newest title in the Assassin's Creed
It has
series,
co-op. It has co-op, and the grappling hook in probably Dying Light is better.
I see.
And also, I know people say, "Oh, Syndicate's gory." It's like play Dying Light, get your gore on.
Well, here, let's jump on to number
I
4,
see.
which is something that was divisive, definitely Batman Arkham Knight, which, yes, it was buggy, but I would say the end product, if you could actually play it, was actually really good. Again,
Guys, I'm the 1%. I'm the 1%. My computer can run it.
yeah, my brother has
Oh my.
my brother has a really good computer, so he could actually run it. So that was the main. I even played it on his computer. Like I couldn't even play it on my own computer. I had to play it on his own. So yeah, I would make note that it's a good computer or a good computer. It's a good game if you can run it. And
Console's way better. Just letting you know.
Console's way better, and the story is really good. But yeah, I think that also lets us. I think we'll just move on from that because I don't think there's too much to say about that. And let's go on.
Don't get the DLC and also too much car combat. Move it, but the story's so good with everything inside of it. Oh, the story's so good. Moving on.
Yes, and moving on, we have number 3, which is Halo 5 Guardians. And
Story is so
Which
terrible.
I
Ooh,
cannot
story's so
possibly
terrible.
comprehend. Why is it in number 3?
because
the multiplayer's so good. The multiplayer's so good.
Wow, bro, yeah.
Speak for yourself, because
just-
Warzone is like, oh my god.
Here's the note with Halo 5. It's the complete opposite of Halo 4 in many ways and shapes and forms. It's like 343, like literally said, okay guys, we know what we got wrong with Halo 4. Let's do the complete opposite. And then took what that was really good about Halo 4 and also did a complete opposite. Which is, if Halo 4 was going to be remembered for anything, it's going to be its story with Cortana and Chief and how those two characters evolved during that game, during that story. The gameplay, not the best. The actual, like, missions, not the greatest. The multiplayer, not the best either. Spartan Ups, a complete waste of time. But that story between Chief and Cortana is one of my favorite stories because it really dives into their characters and characters that didn't have any right to have character. And then you look at Halo 5, which multiplayer, fantastic. Forge, fantastic. The gameplay,
I haven't played the Forge. How is it?
stellar. Forge is really
I have a
detailed.
Halo thing coming out soon. It's literally monster trucks. That alone, that someone made that in a few days. That alone just shows you the improvements in Forge. It looks so good.
It's Halo 5, the gameplay, the mechanics, even some of the set pieces are better than 4. I will admit Halo 5 had better set pieces, in my opinion, than 4, just because in Halo 5 you had a moment where you were literally fighting down the side of a skyscraper, and you were also on an elevator, jettisoning up and fighting enemies. Those scenes were awesome. But the sad thing is, the story was so bad. There were moments of shining gold. 3 of them. 3 good story moments of shining gold. All starring Chief. And what you got stuck with for the other 12 missions is a boring lock. I'm hitting my head on my table just for you guys to know. It was
If they did not add Nolan into that, was it Nolan North as the
as Buck.
Was it Nolan North?
Buck, yeah.
No,
It
wait.
was Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Thank you.
Nathan Fillion as Buck was the only redeeming factor of that entire squad. Everyone else was just so freaking boring. I didn't even care. I couldn't tell no offense, I couldn't tell the difference between Vale and the other one.
Vale Tanchanka?
Yeah.
The voice actress was the same one as in Tales of the Borderlands, Fiona.
Oh, I have to go back.
I
Oh,
couldn't care less about her because I don't know anything about her. She has no development. Even Blue Team. How do you screw up Blue Team? They're the guys
yeah.
that were with Chief since the beginning, and they have like little to no notes. They didn't like try to help Chief in this dark moment. Like it's almost like they were there from the beginning, and Cortana's kind of like this new thing Chief was with. It almost sounds like an old flame. It's like they were there since the beginning, and they have no notes about Chief about this whole situation. Oh, Redman.
There literally is a moment in there where it's like Chief said, like, I had a dream. This is where Cortana is, and everyone's like, right. And the game says,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
Chief
weird.
will follow you. Real life says, Chief, hold on, you had a dream. Let's get you back to HQ. Let's figure things out. Now, hey, let's go blind luck and follow Chief. It's like, really, really, he knocked himself out, fell down. It's like fell down into the depths of a ship, and it's like, yes, I had a dream. It's like, no, you were knocked unconscious.
Like if there was a scene like he was accessing something and like the back of like the he puts the chip in and suddenly he like goes nuts. That would have been 10 times more better and 10 times more connection. Like if it would have like been a shock to his very system to see this. Like it's not the fall that knocks him out. It's literally getting these images and seeing Cortana, kind of like a la Mass Effect, literally shocking him to his core, and then him being like, "You guys are not going to leave me, and I know, and I need you to follow me on this one. I need you to follow me." Like,
Okay, you're getting a little too into
no,
it.
because that was the thing about Halo 4. Halo 4 was Chief fighting like literally the most like this ancient evil, just trying to stop it. But he wasn't trying to stop it for the benefit of humanity. He was trying to stop it so he could get Cortana to safety, so he could keep Cortana alive. That was the goal in Halo 4. He didn't care. It wasn't for humanity. It wasn't for the benefit of all. It was to save Cortana. And I wish they would have delved into that more with this, but instead you're stuck with Locke. And other than some great set piece moments like on Shin Helios, nobody cares about Locke. No, you didn't give me a reason to.
I just wish that the character development they had in 4 was in 5. That would have made 5, like, the story and character development in 4 was so good that it's like, whoa. And then, of course, the Xbox 360 held it back from being a good game. On Xbox One, they can go bigger, better, but the problem was the character development. They're like, we don't have time for it. It's like, no, that was the reason why we like Halo, and it was so good in 4.
My favorite moment of Halo 5, honestly, was seeing the Arbiter again.
Yes,
That's just it. That was like it.
They have good fan service moments. But it's just like I don't care. I don't want to be fan service. I want it to be actual impactful.
I will admit
I think Redman wants to speak.
The entire Shin Helios fight is by far one of the, like the best. I would say one of the best Halo arcs. Like in that, I mean that like the campaign, like to get that moment. That is some great scenes. But Redman, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to ask you like real quick. You said Blue Team's like character was like really dull. How would you say, compared to like Halo Reach, that dynamic?
Oh, Halo, they're better than Halo Reach.
I would say.
No, wait, hold on, wait. Let me think about that for a second.
I think he means dynamics-wise, not necessarily
like
skill-wise.
the squad, like the interactions, the characters.
5 would be worse. At least for Reach, you could tell they were a team. Even then,
damn it,
because you had so little time.
I hate Reach so much.
I agree with you.
I think some of like George is probably like, yes, he's better. You get more of him. But that being said, like the sniper, I forget his name. Like I don't care about him. I got more info from.
The funny thing is, he's the only one that survives out of everyone.
I know, but it's the dumb part is, I feel like you at least got at least 2 to 3 missions, or like no. Out of I Love Halo Reach, you got a ton of missions with each of them and a ton of dialogue. The problem was there wasn't that. There was no time for it. There were so many characters in there that they added in. It's like, yes, let's put the Arbiter in for 5 missions. Linda, will have her talk 2 times. It's like, yeah, of course you're only gonna hear so much out of her and so much development. So it's like, on presence, I wish they had more time. But that being said, I feel like Reach was just a worse story than Halo 5.
Well, they
I-
retconned the whole Reach story, so.
Yeah, which is the reason why I hate Reach.
I can't even.
Mhm.
I would completely agree with you on that, bro. Like
Reach had better personal set moments, personal set pieces, and moments that intertwined with the story, but the characters in it, like I said, I feel like at least Locke was better than the quote unquote was it
Commander?
Noble 6
By the
until
way,
Noble 6 died. Noble 6 had a
Oh.
better ending, but whatever.
I will. I'm gonna.
Noble 6 went out like a badass, admit it.
Let's go.
And then on the counterpoint, you have what's her name? What's her name that had the sniper moment that I call BS on and forever say BS upon?
Cat.
Cat.
Or
Yeah.
Carter being like, I'm gonna dive the Pelican into the scarab. It's like, you
Jump
know
out the
you can run
back.
out the back. Yeah.
Well, he was already bleeding out, remember?
Or it's like, dude, it's like
How? Nothing in
Skullface,
front of
like,
him?
yeah, I'm amazing. Like,
How?
it's like, really?
I just want to know.
He
How
had
is-
I know-
somehow gotten. He
how
got
was
hit
he
by
injured?
by banshees or something.
How? The
I don't
glass
know.
wasn't broken.
Game limitations? I don't know. I'm not defending the game. I find him very cliche, very cut and dry.
It was.
I
It was. I think Bungie just. It was the. It didn't give me much. Like it
It's
was
good
good.
foods.
I considered high.
And
potential
then
looking back.
Bungie made the next game, the better game, Destiny. Which, if you hate Halo 5 story,
Oh,
Destiny,
Destiny.
I don't care about the
Burn
Taken
it at
King.
the stake.
I watched all the
Toss it
cutscenes
into
in Taken
Mount
King, and
Mordor
Taken
to
King's
Mount
story
Doom.
is worse. If you're wondering why Taken King is in there, Taken King is essentially them trying to patch Destiny with a band-aid over a bleeding heart. And hate to break it to you, I can't wait to see Destiny fall.
Wow.
So.
It
Okay,
was made in the
guys,
fires
guys,
of Mount Doom.
I'm
and
taking
it is only
host
there
position.
it can
I'm
be
getting us off
anime.
of Halo, and I'm gonna say one last thing.
Destiny burns.
I'm gonna say.
But Halo 5's multiplayer is great.
No, I'm taking. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Halo 5 multiplayer, fantastic. But I'm giving one last note to all those. Yeah, definitely get Halo 5 on Xbox One. It's definitely worth. I would definitely say the multiplayer is worth it by far. But one last note. 343. I want you to go over to Austin, Texas. I want you to knock on the production studio of a little known company known Rooster Teeth. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but just knock on their door and ask them, please show us how to do a fight scene between two Spartans. They will gladly
Oh my
show
God.
you how to do it. Because the fight scene between
Instead
Locke
of
and
just
Chief
brawling.
was so bad, I was like, is that it?
There was a lot of. It was just boxing, basically.
It literally was.
And
It literally was two. First off, Chief would wipe the floor out of freaking Locke easily because of what the
Indeed.
Spartans went through, and to have him just get like Locke. By the way, he left Locke on a good note. I'll give him that. But it should have been all of Team Osiris versus Chief, and then it would have worked. Not one. And if you want to see how to do that,
because they're all there just looking at with their guns at him, it's like, should we
like,
shoot? No,
shoot!
no.
It's like shoot him. It's like it should have been Chief battling them all and like just wrecking them because that's what you did for 5 games with Master Chief. You did that with
Indeed.
You did that with 1, 2, 3,
You stopped the war
4.
as chief.
Yeah, if
and
he can do
suddenly
all that, then he can do this. Oh, I'm sorry, not 5.
Like, you could claim he was
Oh, yeah.
emotionally compromised, but considering that the great, Covenant War, like, scarred them so much, I can't really even use that.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like Master Chief. If that's really all you, I mean, that was disappointing. But here, let's get off that. Let's go to a nice surprise. Let's go a game that I didn't even think I didn't even know about starting at 2015. It ended up being one of the biggest time investments of 2015, which is Ark, which is like again, goes back to my brother and I saying we are major fans of dinosaurs. We're major fans of history. The gameplay.
Okay.
And making
Real
a
quick.
base is awesome.
I want you to admit this. Have you ever played Ark with the Jurassic theme on? Because I know I have. I haven't played it very much, granted, as much as
Maybe
you
once.
guys, but I've played it with Jurassic theme going on. And it also just so happened to be the first time that Greyshot picked me up with a freaking pterosaur in the middle of the freaking like night or something, or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, that was
in the middle
great.
of
Scared
freezing
you half to
cold.
death. You're like, I'm dying. I'm being picked
I tried
up.
to
I'm gonna
freaking
die.
punch you. I tried to freaking punch you because I thought someone was trying to kill me. Oh, good times.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah.
Ark is something I'd recommend. It's definitely, bro. Would you say it's like the best early access survival game? If like,
Yes.
I would say,
Easily.
I would say,
Easily.
It's more fun with
Maybe.
friends.
Wait, hold on. The Forest and was it the? There's a water game.
Stranded Deep.
It's like there's a water
Oh,
Stranded Deep.
Subnautica.
No, it's not Subnautica. Stranded Deep, maybe
Oh.
Subnautica, but like those games, I could say are like probably up there. But don't get DayZ. Don't get like with 7 Days to Die. They're
Yeah,
just
as someone who played a lot of
it'll
7 Days to Die,
disappoint you.
don't. It's not worth it.
Rust.
My note for the biggest note for Ark is it has a progression system, which is fulfilling. Like you do stuff and you can slowly build up, and even if you die, it's still there. So it's not like in H1Z1 or you die and you don't come back. Like you lose all your stuff and you lose everything. It's like, no, I have a base. Or even if your base gets wiped off the map, you can still come back because you still have access to all the resources. So it still allows you to, yes, you lose everything, but you can still come back with everything. Like, that's the beauty of it. That's the ingenious thing of it. It's like you don't technically lose everything because...
Also, taming dinosaurs.
Yes, taming dinosaurs
too.
is awesome. Awesome. But here...
Very time consuming though.
Here,
Not if you get cable.
So yeah, Ark is number 2, but at number 1, to no surprise to anyone that has been...
Yes.
That watches the channel, or to Redman, or to Blueleader, or to myself. Life is Strange.
Yeah.
It is a disappointment for me. It is a disappointment for me because I hate it. I despise everything
Oh,
about
by
it.
the way, just to get it a note,
I'm so
we did
tired
not
of
play
hearing
Metal
about it.
Gear, we did not play Witcher. That's why it's on the top 10. I did not play Ori, and I barely played Tomb Raider on Xbox One. Those 4 games are the reason why they're not on our top 10. I'm sorry. I can only get through so much.
Yeah.
That
Says the guy who
stated,
got
Life
the
is Strange
Hannibal
is the best
tutor
game that
that
I
one
played
game.
in 2015, and the reason why I remember 2015.
Yeah, me too.
What
Like,
about 2016,
I remember
dude?
everything.
What about 2016? It's 4 days into the new year, and you still haven't done anything. You freaking slacker. Pick up the slack.
I'm playing Ethan Carter right now on live streams. How about that?
Well, hurry the hell up. Take your time, but hurry the hell up.
Well,
And then Tomb Raider.
I think with that,
But no,
I
Life
think
is
we're gonna
Strange is
end-
so good.
Oh, I think
Life
with
is
that,
Strange
I
is
think
good
we'll
because
end
of
the
story,
podcast, 'cause
characters,
nothing
and
to mention
it
about
has a
that
great
game.
art style. It has a great ending. I don't care what people say. I know it's polarizing. Hey, episode 5, but hey, it, in my opinion, had a great ending. It left me thinking about it for days upon the ending and what it meant, and it's just like on a good note, not a bad note. I'm looking at you. What was it? What was that game I played? It was bad. Oh right,
Civilization 5 Red Mod.
No, I was actually thinking Game of Thrones, but I'm gonna move on.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
that
you
I
actually-
started
oh,
playing
yeah.
that. That was
It was bad.
I played that. I'm just like I don't care. I know Game of Thrones. It's just I don't know what it is. It was just like
You
it
should
was.
return it. I think you actually have less than 2 hours, so...
Yeah, I might. Anyway, I don't know why. It's Game of Thrones. You figured they would be better. No, apparently Tales is better. But anyway, um. I mean, we've had just some disappointing games as well this year, but Life is Strange came out of nowhere. I love the art style, love the game, the characters, the development, the time travel elements, with the mystery in it,
The
just
music.
the world building,
They
the
might as well
music is
just make
great.
Max like the newest X-Men. I swear to God. It's just...
But and like consequences, like episode 2 where you're trying to talk someone down from killing yourself,
Oh,
it's
that
just
was...
like one of the best moments I've ever had in a game.
Well,
It's
if you
seriously.
succeed, if not, you feel like shit, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Wow, there's
I mean,
Blueleader with
yeah,
Mr.
that too.
Positivity over here.
And by the way,
Oh, yes,
more
I am very
people
positive.
more
I
people
know-
lost her than got her. So that's the thing. More
True.
people got her killed.
Wow.
Well, because people they don't care to know anyone in the game. In general, they just don't care to know people. They just go through life with their own, I want
And
to.
that's one of the big things about the game. But yeah, if you have not played Life is Strange, pick it up now. The Steam sale's over, unfortunately, but probably it's over. But again, I can't recommend it enough. Just you could easily pick it up. Go pick up the game. It's good. It's good. And that's about it, I think.
Wowzer.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
everything. Oh my, we got through it.
Well, with that, I think, yeah, that basically concludes the first episode of the Greyshot Productions podcast. Way to keep it in a half hour, guys.
There was no
That's
way
your
we'd keep it in a
fault.
half hour. There was no way. We're
For
talking
30
at
games,
least
movies,
30.
and TV series,
At least.
not to mention the honorable mentions,
Yeah.
of which there were at least 5 for each one.
No way. You were crazy if you thought we were getting through this.
He was high. I know he was high on too, but I won't tell.
Should we do shout-outs to our close friends that couldn't join us for the podcast?
Yes.
Like Delta,
Uh,
who's never on because he's always on Siege.
Yavert.
Yeah, big shout out to Yavert. Currently, he has a Wii U,
Yes.
so if you guys want to support him for going insane and buying such a device, please donate now to help Yavert at Patreon.com.
And if you want to donate any funds to his
Mental
charity,
health
I suppose you
relief?
could call it.
Oh,
Yes,
you know
really.
what? The Xbox One sales are still going on, so you could pick up like Alien Isolation for $10 or Walking.
Yes, but if you want to go ahead and support Yavert in his time of
found it.
need because he's insane, call this number below at 1-800-259-5555.
That poor guy. I don't even know who that is. That person is just gonna get. Wait.
All right, let's wrap it up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
I was
Hope
kidding
you guys
to anyone
enjoyed.
who might
We'll
actually
see you guys
consider it.
next time.
Yes. Thank you guys. See ya.